Hello and welcome to Nikipedia. Today we're doing a special panel on Rahul Gandhi's disqualification and the death of democracy. On our panel are liberal intellectual, Mrs. Nationalist, and Professor Sirius. Before we get started, let's go to our reporter who's on the ground. Thanks, Nikita. So this is a broad timeline of the events. In April 2019, Rahul Gandhi was campaigning in Kolar, Karnataka for the Lok Sabha elections, and he had made a speech. In this speech, he criticized PM Modi's rupees 15 lakh promise, which is unfulfilled, demonetization, GST implementation, and the accumulation of a few business groups that are seen to be close to the government. But the statement that got him sued was this: why do all thieves have Modi as their surname? Nirav Modi, Lalit Modi, Narendra Modi, and if you search a little more, और बहुत सारे Modi निकलेंगे. Then in 2019 itself, BJP MLA Purnesh Modi sued Rahul Gandhi, alleging that he had defamed the entire Modi community. On March 23rd this year, a Surat court convicted Rahul Gandhi, but also granted him bail and suspended the sentence for 30 days. On March 24th, a day later, Rahul Gandhi was disqualified from the Lok Sabha because, as per the Representation of the People Act, a person sentenced to imprisonment for 2 years or more is disqualified from the date of such conviction and remain disqualified for a period of 6 years after serving time. Back to you. Thank you, reporter. Mr. Liberal Intellectual, that seems pretty straightforward to me. Rahul Gandhi got sued for a defamation case. The courts convicted him, and because our laws don't allow a convicted individual to continue in parliament, he had to be disqualified. What's your take on this? Firstly, it is a big deal if the leader of the opposition is jailed. This has only happened once before in independent India, when Indira Gandhi was expelled from the Lok Sabha and jailed for 9 days in 1978 for breach of privilege and contempt of parliament. Secondly, the timing of this verdict is interesting because nothing much happened on this case for 4 years. But just as Rahul Gandhi did two things: one, he made some uncomfortable statements about Adani in parliament, and second, he spoke about the sorry state of Indian democracy in London during his recent visit in early March. This verdict came really quick. Thirdly, the defamation laws in India are outdated, and that's why they are misused by politicians. In most progressive countries, the punishment for defamation does not include a jail term. Also, Narendra Modi himself has resorted to calling Sonia Gandhi Congress ki vidwa, pasta behan, jersey cow, 50 crore ki girlfriend. All right, there have been no consequence. Right. Let's also take a look at what lawyer Apar Gupta has said. This case is surely an outlier and a solitary instance where a defamation conviction resulted in parliamentary disqualification. This makes it appear that this case is one of political vendetta rather than of repairing a person's reputation. Professor Sirius, you've written a book on Prime Minister Narendra Modi and have been tracking what's been happening in India for a long time. What's your take on this entire situation?
The current situation makes it very clear that the BJP government is not comfortable discussing the Gautam Adani situation in parliament at all, especially at a time when India is in the spotlight because of the G20 summit. But now, because of this incident, what the opposition is realizing is that this government poses an existential risk to anybody that goes against them, which is why even rivals of Rahul Gandhi in the opposition, ops, Arvind Kejriwal, are supporting him because the arrest of Manish Sisodia also reiterated the same thing for them. Now, what lies ahead is going to be dependent on how Rahul Gandhi, the opposition, how they come together, and the judiciary work.
All right, now let's get an opposing voice. Mrs. Nationalist, please share your opinion with us. Due to political frustration, Rahul Gandhi's hatred towards the PM has translated into insult for the entire nation. And in doing that, he thought it wise to insult the entire OBC community. Mrs. Nationalist, there is much wrong with Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party. The fact that Rahul Gandhi has never held administrative office has worked against him. And what he's tried to do with the Bharat Jodo Yatra is in some ways hypocritical, because he says he's taking the Congress party to its roots. But those roots are entrenched in the ingrained inequality that's part of Hinduism. In Rahul Gandhi's speeches, there is no mention of Dalits, Adivasis, and Muslims. The only difference for minority communities is that under the Congress party, their suffering was restricted to their livelihoods and not their lives. This discussion is not in support of Rahul Gandhi or his potential incarceration. It's about basic democratic rights. If somebody as influential as Rahul Gandhi can be targeted, what chance does anybody else have of criticizing the government when it is wrong? Whether it's the Pani Puri wala on the street or an influential business person, very few people are open about their criticism of the government because it's so vindictive. And that's not democratic at all. That's a wrap on this discussion. Thank you for joining us.